Hi, my name is Gracie X, and I wanted to do a video on what I call the pink monkey syndrome. And I came up with this. I started writing and talking to my husband about when you start opening your marriage or doing any form of polyamory, you start to really feel and notice how sex negative our culture is. And I hate to be like, ooh, but I really think that we have a problem here. And I started writing about the pink monkey syndrome because, well, basically it is this. If you and I are in a relationship and I say to you, don't think about pink monkeys, what is the first thing that you're going to think about? Pink monkeys. And if I say to you, look, if you ever touch a pink monkey and I find out about it, that's it. We're over. We're done. What are you going to do? How is that going to affect you? You're going to be looking around for pink monkeys. You're going to be monitoring whether you want to touch a pink monkey. It's going to be scary. It's going to be charged. It's going to be sexy. It's going to be forbidden. It's going to heighten the fear and the attraction to pink monkeys. And this is what I think happens in our culture. And I think it's fine to have an agreement in your relationship, like, hey, we're not going to have sex outside of our relationship. However, if the agreement is from a very shaming, charged, judgmental, sex negative place, that I think eventually leads to problems. And this is what I've noticed actually. There seems to be this collective thought that if you open things up, that chaos will reign. And I have found that it just isn't the case. And I have a story about this. My husband wanted to do this particular thing. He had this fantasy, and we talked about it for a long time. We talked about it for about a year. There were certain reasons that I felt uncomfortable with it, and finally I got to this place, things shifted, I felt more connected with him, I felt safe, and I just felt like it was something that I could give. And so one night he asked if he could go off and do this thing, and I said, sure. And so he left. And I think I started doing the laundry. My kids were gone. I think I like repolished my nails. I mean, I was happy to have the solitude. And about 30 minutes later, he came home. He came back and he said, I started to drive and I don't know, I miss you. I think I'd rather hang out with you. And so we crawled into bed, we giggled, we opened up a bottle of wine and started talking about this. Isn't this interesting? You wanted to do this for so long, and what happened? And for him, the element of the forbidden being removed from it, my judgment or charge around it, made it sort of mundane, and he lost his interest. Now, the moral to this story is not, hey, if you say yes to everything your partner wants, they'll come back to you. That's not my point. But I do think that it is a really interesting thing that happens when there is some openness, that sex isn't a frightening, negative charged thing. And that you can be so rigid in this area and so frightened in this area that it becomes a charged thing in and of itself. It's a thing in our world that I have to say I'm very intrigued by, and I think that it's one of the reasons that there is sometimes an addiction quality to sex in some aspects of our culture, that it's so forbidden that it becomes a way of just losing yourself. And anyway, I could go on and on about this. I'm kind of fascinated by it, writing about the pink monkey syndrome. I just wanted to share it on my YouTube channel, and if you're fascinated too, please let me know your thoughts at graciex.com, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Namaste.